welcome to another episode of the Cozy Cottage Crochet Podcast. My name is Hannah, and this is a podcast all about crochet, a little bit of sewing and knitting, and generally living the yarniest life possible in St. Petersburg, Florida. This is episode 35. I can't believe we are on that number already. If you are a returning viewer, I feel like it's only been a couple of days since I talked to you because the last 2 weeks have been insane, but I will tell you all about that later. And if you're a new viewer, thanks for stopping by to spend a little bit of crafty time with us. I hope you like what you see. If you're looking for me anywhere on the interwebs, the best place to find me is Instagram. My username is the Cozy Cottage Crochet. I generally post at least a few updates a week, and you can also find me by the same name on Facebook, and on Ravelry it's just the Cozy Cottage. If you have any questions, inquiries, comments, concerns, etc. related to this podcast specifically, please shoot me an email. That is the best way to get a hold of me. I know I've gotten a few Facebook messages and Instagram messages recently, and it's really hard for me to be able to get back to those in a timely manner. So please email me. My email address is thecozycottagecrochet@gmail.com. And also, I just want to say before we jump in that if you left a comment on one of my last 2 videos on YouTube, or you have sent me an email in the last week, I have not gotten to it yet. I have been out of town. I got back, this is Friday morning, I got back Wednesday night pretty late. So I'm a little behind. I will be catching up soon. So look out for that. I promise I will get back to you, especially if you've sent me an email. If you're a pattern tester for me, I will get back to you in the next day or so, and I will get back to all of your YouTube comments because you guys are so lovely. Okay. I have so much to talk about. Not a ton of yarn related things. I mean, they're all yarn related things, right? But I don't have a ton of projects. I have only been working on 2 projects for the last 2 weeks, and that is it. But I still have a ton to talk about because we went to Vegas, which I will talk about all at the end. So I'm going to do the yarn first, and then we'll talk about the trip and my meetup with Claudia and Stephanie and Zelda, Z, and I will tell you all about that. But first, let's see, this is Friday morning, so tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, when this goes live, 2 hours, 3 hours after that, I will be having a meetup in St. Petersburg for anyone who lives in the area. So we're gonna meet at a Panera Bread, and then we are going to go to Stash, a place for yarn, which is my local yarn store just a few minutes away from my house. All of the details for that are in my Ravelry group. So I think like 5 or 6 people have already RSVP'd that they are coming. I am super excited to meet you, and I'll be able to tell you guys all more about that next time. And I mean, I'm assuming it's gonna go fabulously, but provided it does, we'll probably have another one in the spring, and if you weren't able to make this one, then we can get together in a few months. I will also be taking tomorrow some yarn that I need to destash and get out of my house because it's just stuff that I may not be able to use, and I've had it for quite a while now. It's mostly acrylic, which I love acrylic. Y'all know that I love using acrylic yarn. However, this yarn has just been in my stash for way too long. So I am going to take it with me tomorrow, and if anyone wants it, they can have it. So if you're coming to the meetup on Saturday, you might go home with some yarn. Okay, that's all the announcements. Let me talk about yarn. Now, I don't know really what to call this segment because they're not really works in progress because they're finished. And they're not really finished objects because they have not had their ends weaved in and they have not been blocked. And boy, do they both need a block. They are so rumply. They have been in my suitcase for a week. They are the only 2 projects that I took with me to Vegas, and they're both done, but not quite, and they're both designs. So one of them you have seen, one of them you saw as a yarn snake. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the one I just finished first. Actually, I finished these both on the plane home. I had 1 row left on the first one and then 1 segment left on the second one. So the first one is Living In, this super cute flower bag that was a lovely gift from Rebecca of Tree Frog Yarn like over a year ago. And it has this super cute pin that says happiness is crochet. I just thought it matched so perfectly. This is a pin that Claudia of Crochet Luna sells in her Etsy shop. If you don't have any pins from Claudia, you definitely need to check her out. So the yarn I am using for this is this amazing heathery green and orange from Sheep Happens Yarn. Who is Leah? She is an indie dyer. She actually contacted me and sent me this yarn custom dyed to design a pattern with. I still cannot get over how exciting that is. So she sent me six skeins to make a 3-skein pattern. So I'm gonna make 2 versions. One of them is done, and I'm gonna show it to you. It starts with green and goes into orange, and the other one is gonna start with orange and go into green. So these colorways do not have names that I know of yet because they were custom dyed, but they are gonna be part of her fall line. So my goal for the next week or so is to get the pattern written up so that it could be out by the end of September, I think. This is 100% merino DK, and it is the squishiest yarn. I know I raved about this last time. I am telling you, I am not in any way being paid to say this, and I will only ever give you my honest opinion. I have frogged this yarn about, I can't even count how many times, maybe 10 to 15 times. I frogged the first 500 stitches of this shawl, and it didn't get fuzzy, it did not pill, it didn't split on me. It is just as lovely as the first time I caked it up, and it is incredibly soft and squishy. So if you are looking, I mean, this is like exactly true to color pretty much. So if you are looking for an amazing squishy DK yarn for winter, you need this in your life. And this is the orange, and that's showing up pretty true to color too. It's very bright orange. I wanted fall colors. So the pattern, as I said, I frogged it many, many times because I had a very specific shape in mind, and I just couldn't get it to be a perfect circle because I wasn't happy with how the increases were working. So I finally started using a specific way to increase. Oh, I'm sorry, I got fuzz in my nose. That's what I get for shoving yarn up my nose. This is how much I had left of, it took 3 skeins. So I had about 1/3 of a skein of the green and I don't know, maybe 20 grams of the orange. You, as a general rule, if you make this pattern, will probably not end up with this much, and the reason that I left this much is because I crochet very tightly. Very few people crochet as tightly as I do. So as a designer, I wanted to leave some leeway. I could have kept going with this green, but I really wanted to make sure that if you buy 3 skeins of this, you will have enough, and you will have enough if you buy 3 skeins. That's enough, isn't it? You guys want to see what I made? Now keep in mind, oh, it's still attached to the ball. It's still attached to the ball of orange. This is very rumbly. It's been in my suitcase, so it may be a little hard to show you. This is the shawl. So the reason I had so many problems with this is because when you lay it out on the floor, it turns into a perfect circle, like a broken circle. If you can hold it out just like this, it's a little ruffly. It will not be ruffly once it's blocked. It just really needs a good block. It's the way that the increases are. I will tell you that this pattern, until you get to like here, is going to be a very curly, weird snake, yarn snake to work on. It is not going to smooth out until you get all the way to the border, and even then you're gonna need to block it. Now you can see, even as I'm stretching it, that the ruffles are going away. So it will block out. And the reason that I wanted this to be a circle, so it's very shallow, it's not a shawl, I assume. It's not one that you're gonna wear like this, because that would look strange. This shawl is designed to stay. Because it's a circle, when you put it on like this, oh gosh, I should have cut this string. I'm getting all tangled up. And this will be bigger once it's blocked. I think it's gonna, it's gonna grow several inches, especially because it's merino. So when you put it on like this, it's not going to move. It is designed to wrap around your neck and not come off. Now, if you are jumping up and down and like waving your arms around, etc., of course it may get loose, but it's supposed to just stay. So, and I think that it will because it's a complete circle. So let me give you a close-up. I don't even want to take it off. It's so nice and squishy. This yarn, the name for this pattern is going to be Falling Ivy, which I had about half of the name. I wanted it to be something with ivy, and I was tossing around the idea of autumn ivy, but I don't necessarily want it to be limited to the fall. If you have different colors of yarn that you want to make this with, because she's going to have a whole fall range, and you don't have to make this in green and orange. So Stephanie from the Tatted Tatter, who we met up with in Vegas, suggested Falling Ivy as the name, and I love it. So credit goes to Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie, for Falling Ivy. So you can tell, this is a close-up. So you start up here, you're going to increase, and then it's just going to go straight down. Now we have little stripes of color, only 3 of them. If you have 4 or 5 skeins of yarn, you could keep going, but you would have to increase again. So I'll probably put that in the pattern. This is single crochet. I found it so meditative to work on. It's just so relaxing to do single crochet, and I swatched a lot with this yarn, and it's not that you can't use the yarn in a different stitch, it's that I felt like this green was so beautiful in single crochet. Like, I cannot get over how it looks. And then we have this border, well, that's blowing out a little bit, that's better, which is a crocodile stitch. However, it's done differently, because a normal crocodile stitch is going to face towards your starting chain. So these are upside down. So the way that you have to do it is a little bit, it's not tricky, you just have to know what you're doing. So I'm going to include like a photo tutorial about that in the pattern as well. So this is the Falling Ivy shawl. I am hoping, I don't see any reason why it would not be released at the end of September, because this is the next pattern that I'm going to write up. I've got to send Leah some pictures, because like I said, I literally finished the second row of these little leaves on the plane home from Vegas. So I just finished it. She doesn't even know what it looks like yet. And I'm really excited. If you have 3 skeins of DK weight yarn and you want something super soft and super squishy, this is the pattern for you. So I am going to cake up these, because these were the ones that I had not wound originally, and I'm going to get started on the same version. It's just going to be orange with green stripes. So the leaves will be green. So this is the Falling Ivy shawl. I'm very, very excited about it. And there is so much yarn and ends to weave in on that shawl. That is kind of finished object number 1. I have one more. Just living in my Star Wars bag. This also went to Vegas with me. It has a button that says never tell me the odds, that we got when we went to Solo. Of course we went on opening night. Can you tell that I like Star Wars? Look at this Star Wars shirt. Fabulous. So he's in my Star Wars bag. This is a pattern that I am hoping to have out at the end of October on Halloween. That is my goal. So this also has yarn attached to it. And I finished it. My goal was to finish it before the plane landed. However, I was 14 stitches away. So I got it done. I feel like that's close enough. So the wheels touched down and I still had 14 stitches. So by the time we were done taxiing, the 14 stitches were done. So technically I finished it before I got home, but not before the plane landed. I am using MoonTower Dye Works, who is my fave, in the colorways. This is Cats of Saturn. Oh, I love it so much. And this is Desperados Tagging a Train. This is, I believe, 75/25 merino nylon. Let's look. Yes, 75/25 merino nylon. Here's her tag. And I purchased these quite a while ago to make a design for. And finally, I always had the shape in mind, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I slept on it for a couple of months basically, and I have finished it. So this also has 1,000,000 ends hanging off of it, and it is not, it really needs to be blocked because it is very rumply. But this is the Bellatrix shawl. It is made entirely in single crochet as well, and entirely crochet short rows. So if you've never done short rows, this is the pattern for you. I promise they are not hard. So what we have is these panels that come down to a point, and then you start another panel and it comes down to a point. And this is why it needs blocked, because these are all curled up under. But basically once it's done, it's gonna look, I hope, like bat wings. Which is why I want to release it on Halloween. So, this yarn smells so sheepy. Every time I pull it out of the bag, I am just so happy to be working on this. It is wonderful. If you have a highly speckled yarn or a very variegated yarn with short color repeats, this is the project to use it on. Not that you could not make these stripes in a solid color, you totally could. However, with the crochet short rows, let me show you, show you on this one. Every so often, there's gonna be a little bump because that's where you're joining from the short row to the original row. And I feel like the speckling and the variegation really hides that. So if you had a solid color, you can completely do it, and I may actually do a solid color version of this in like a worsted weight or something so you can see what it looks like. But I think this is amazing for a speckly variegated pattern of yarn. So if you have some skeins that you don't know what to do with, you'll need at least 2 skeins to do this, to be 100 grams each. I don't even know how many grams are here. It says 100 grams. I feel like I weighed these and there was maybe 115 grams in each one, or like this one had 110 and this one had 115, so I got a little bit more yarn than the label said that I did, so I would suggest you weigh it. I will enclose instructions in the pattern, because basically what you need to do is make one panel and weigh it. And if this is more than 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so you need to make 6 panels out of one color and 5 out of another. So for this color, if your panel is more than 20 grams, you're not gonna have enough yarn if you only have 100 grams. So my panels came in at about 13 grams, 14 grams, so I had plenty to do all of them. Of course, you can make this bigger. So this is gonna grow a lot when it is blocked. Yeah, I can't really, I can't really show you what it looks like on because it's so crumpled up from being in my suitcase. I'll show you on the next podcast. It'll be all blocked and the ends will be woven in. It'll be amazing. But you can make this larger. All you have to do is keep going. So I will put instructions in the pattern on how to make this larger. You could make it with 3 skeins. You could make it with more than 2 colors. You could change colors every single panel if you want to. You could make it with 4 skeins. I only started with a certain number of stitches. You can start as many as you want. Like I started with 80 stitches. You could start with 100. You could start with 125. You can make this as big as you want. And honestly, if you wanted to, you could keep going all the way around and make it a complete circle. Now it will have like kind of a little semicircle in the middle, but it could be a round blanket if you wanted it to be. You just have to seam up the panels. So this is Bellatrix. I love her. I am going to work on the Falling Ivy pattern first because it's autumn. And then this one, my goal is to have it released on Halloween, which is actually not that far from now. So I need to get to work. Oh, I love it so much. I do have one other yarny thing to show you. Oh no, actually 2. I said I only took 2 projects with me to Vegas. That's not true. I took 3, but I only worked on this so, like, I don't know, 20 minutes on the plane, and I got tired of it. And the reason I got tired of it is because it's knitting. So this is the transitions shawl that I have talked about previously, and basically I was right here and now I'm here. So I did like 6 rows, and I think I did something wrong. Something went wrong over here, because you see these beautiful holes and then there's no hole right there. So I don't know, I don't really want to rip out like 6 rows. I'm going to see if I can fudge it or just ignore it, because I don't think anyone's going to notice. But I mean, it's really pretty. I just don't like working on it that much, because I would rather crochet. So that got a very, very tiny amount of love. The other yarn thing I have to show you is something my dad made, and he does not know that I'm showing it on this podcast. Hi, Dad. But I know he watches. My dad is a knitter. He has knit since before I was born. He makes all kinds of hats and scarves, and he made this cowl that I'm about to show you. Now, I don't have any clue what the pattern is called, so don't ask me. He brought it over to me so that I could block it for him. So it's not blocked yet, and I'm gonna weave the ends in, but it's so pretty. I just thought you should see it. I believe that this yarn is Red Heart Soft. That's what it feels like to me. I'm not entirely sure what the yarn content is, but it's this beautiful purple, and it's got these lace panels. It's got a lace panel in the middle, and once it's blocked, it's gonna be, see if I can stretch it out even more. So it's a cowl, and you can either wear it like this or wrap it twice around. So I think it's beautiful, and it's super soft and super squishy. Ah, my hair, you guys. So I just wanted to show it to you because I never get the chance to show his knitting off, because he lives in a different house than I do, and it's like an hour away. So I thought you might like to see that I come from a yarny family. So show and tell over. So, oh my gosh, you guys, I just realized I didn't announce the giveaway winner for last podcast giveaway. I'm gonna say it right now, and I'm gonna say it again at the end, just in case you miss it. The giveaway was for these 2.5 balls of Stylecraft Batik DK, and then all of these little leftovers. These are the leftovers from my rabbit hole cardigan, and I wanted to give them to someone who hadn't tried the yarn. I know this yarn is kind of hard to get a hold of in America, so I pulled a random number generator. There were 71 entries in the Ravelry thread, and number 2 won. Who really, it was number 2 through 71, because the first post was mine. So the person who won is Reading Yarn Mama, and I don't know your name because it does not say on Ravelry, but it says that you live in Michigan. And so I am going to send you a message on Ravelry letting you know that you won. I will need your address and your full name. Please respond to that, and then I will be able to get that in the mail to you. Congratulations. Thank you to everyone who told me what their favorite yarn was. That is fabulous. I believe that she said her favorite yarn was Karen 1 pound. Let me go back and read the post. Yes, she says, I love Karen 1 pound. It just works well with knitting and crochet, which is true. Sometimes you just have to love a yarn that works well. There was a lot of people who loved mandala, and then there's quite a few new yarns, or I should say new to me yarns that I have not tried yet, that I need to try because they've been recommended. And that's kind of why I wanted to know what your favorite yarn is, so that I will have new yarns to try. So that's the giveaway winner. Let's talk Vegas. So I recorded 2 weeks ago, And then I basically did not crochet for several days because I was trying to get everything in order to go out of town. So I was working and packing and doing all kinds of stuff. So I didn't really do any crochet. I mean, I worked on the falling ivy shawl, but I kept ripping it out. I really did not. It didn't really get past row 5 until like the day before we left for Vegas. So I didn't do much crochet. And then my husband and I flew out on Thursday night, not yesterday, but the week before, to go to Vegas for our 7-year anniversary. We had a long weekend together. And of course, Vegas is 3 hours behind. So we left here at like 8 and we got there at 9. So, it was a cool 105 degrees when we got off the plane at 9:10 p.m. when we were finally out of the airport. 105, you guys. I do not know how anyone knits or crochets in Vegas. Legitimately. Like, you think Florida is hot? Oh my word. And I know people are like, it's a different kind of heat. Yeah, it is, but that doesn't stop it from being mind-blowingly hot. It was 105 at 10 p.m. Not to mention, there was like a 15-mile-an-hour wind, which is like blowing boiling air straight into your eyeballs. So the difference between Vegas, or the desert, I should say, and Florida is one is a wet heat, one is a dry heat. Florida is wet, Vegas is dry. In Vegas, it's really, really, really hot, but you don't sweat that much. However, every time I was outside, I was like, water. I need like a gallon of water. People who live there must go through like a gallon of lotion a day. Like, that is how dry the air is. So you don't really sweat. You sweat like a little bit just because it's so hot, but you're not in Florida. Like, it could be 80 degrees and you're just like pouring because it's so humid outside. So in Vegas, the shade makes a difference. If you're under shade, the temperature drops quite a bit because it's not that humid. However, the breeze feels like someone is blasting a hairdryer in your face. So it's just moving 100-degree air at you. It does not cool you off, it makes it worse. In Florida, the shade helps some, but it doesn't help significantly because it's just humid and the air is very wet. However, a breeze will cool you off significantly, and we pretty much always have a breeze where I live because I live in St. Pete, like 5 miles from the beach. The beach, not the breach. So we always have a breeze. So it is incredibly hot. We stayed at the Mirage, which is one of the hotels on the Strip. I believe it's owned by MGM. I'm not sure, but it's one that has like 3. It's like a little spoke, so it has like a little central thing and 3 hotel wings branch off of it. It was really nice. The bed was comfortable. The room was nice. Everything in Vegas is insanely expensive, at least on the Strip, like in the hotel. And I don't know if it's because like mostly people are rich when they go to Vegas or mostly people are drunk when they go to Vegas, but there were no, in the store, in the hotel, like all their little snack stores and things like that, there was no prices on anything. In fact, we asked the lady how much it would cost for 1 bottle of Jack Daniels, and she didn't know. She had to look it up. She worked there and she didn't know, which means people just buy stuff and never ask what it costs. So she looked it up for us, and it was $65 for 1 normal sized bottle. So we said no thank you. And we walked to a store that was like a half a mile away and purchased our own things for a much reduced price. I did buy a couple of things from the snack place in the hotel just because we didn't want to leave and go outside. Like, for example, we bought a couple of ginger ales and some Cheez-Its. 1 can of ginger ale, okay, $4.25. Not even a bottle, a can of ginger ale was $4.25. There was like a normal, like little cafeteria style restaurant, one of them in the hotel, and a club sandwich was $22. Blows my mind. That was not the case like down the Strip. There was plenty of stuff to buy and stuff to eat that was not that expensive. I think it was just like the convenience of being in the hotel that made it that way. I'm not sure. So we got there. We mostly just wandered around the Strip. Like, we went in every single hotel. We checked out the casino. We checked out all the decorations. So we were staying at the Mirage. We went through the Venetian, which is made to look like Italy, Venice. We went through the Bellagio. We watched the show, like the fountain show. During the day, we didn't actually get to see it at night, which I will get to in a minute. We walked through the Cosmopolitan, which is like the fanciest place I've ever been in. They have this like 3-story chandelier that you can get, there's a bar inside of it. You can like go up in there. What other hotels are there? Aria, Planet Hollywood, which we got very lost inside. But it ended up being okay because they are attached to like this little round mall that has a popcorn place, and I may have gone back there more than once to buy more popcorn. So we just wandered all around. There is, I'm trying to think of all the places we ate. We ate #1 at Taco Bell Cantina, which I didn't even know existed, but now I'm really sad that there's not one next to my house. It is a Taco Bell that has a full bar and serves Mountain Dew Baja Blast slushies. Oh my goodness, it's like a restaurant almost. So I ordered like nachos and their fake cheese, and they gave me like 5 times the amount of chips that you would normally get at a Taco Bell. And now that I'm talking about it makes me want to go back to Taco Bell. So we ate there. We ate at In-N-Out Burger just because there's not any in Florida. My husband hadn't had In-N-Out Burger since he was a teenager. I've had it a few times just for traveling for work in California, but it's been a couple years. So we ate it in In-N-Out Burger. We ate it, there was a French restaurant, and I don't know the name of it, but it's right on the Strip across the street from Bellagio. So we ate there, and we got basically like steak and fries, but it was a French restaurant, so it was different. They like pounded the steak into like this really, really thin strip. It was amazing. It was so good. And the fries are some of the best fries I've ever had in my life. And y'all know I love fries. So we got to eat that and watch the fountain show at Bellagio, which is very impressive. Oh gosh, what else did we do? Oh, we ate at Bobby Flay's Burger Palace. We thought about going to one of Gordon Ramsay's restaurants, but they were like insanely packed, and I really did want to go to Bobby Flay's Burger Palace. And it was pretty inexpensive. Like the burgers are like 10 bucks, 12 $12, and for the Strip, that's pretty cheap. And it was very, very good. Like, I am so happy. So happy, in fact, that after my husband left and went home on Sunday, I took the ladies there. So we ate a lot of food. We wandered all around. We laid by the pool. We got in the hot tub, and then that's pretty much all we did. We went to Cirque du Soleil. Now, there's several Cirque du Soleil shows in Vegas. The one that is in the hotel we were staying at is, I can't remember what it's called, but it's the Beatles one. I think it's called Love. So it was very awesome because I love the Beatles so much. And they were doing acrobatics. There was a lot of dancing, so maybe less acrobatics than a normal Cirque du Soleil show, but I love watching the dancing and everything as well. It was almost like, if you can imagine being like really high and just imagining a Beatles song, that's what it was. Like, there was all these crazy decorations and like props that they were using. At one point there was these crazy jellyfish floating out of the sky. There was like a little kid sleeping on a quote-unquote bed, doing all kinds of stunts and tricks, and it was just incredible. It was incredible. Like it was basically like a crazy dream to a whole bunch of Beatles songs, and they did so many of the songs. It was amazing. So that was awesome. And then on Sunday, my husband had to get up really early, like 5 a.m. to go to the airport, and he flew home, and then his flights he had to stop in Detroit because we couldn't get a nonstop, and his flights got delayed, and then he didn't even make it home until Monday at like 12 a.m. So it was a pretty long day for him. I stayed in the hotel until noon. I got a little bit of a late checkout, as much as they'll give you for free without charging you. So, and then I checked out and went to Starbucks and like tried to catch up on some podcasts that I am still way, way behind on. But I got to see a few lovely, lovely people. Like Sam from Sam Squeak, who hasn't had an episode all summer. It was so great to watch her. And Kalisha from the Quirky Monday Craftcast. I just spent like 3 or 4 hours basically crocheting and watching podcasts and sipping on a soy latte, which was amazing. So after that, Claudia and Stephanie and Z were driving from California to Vegas, and they came and picked me up. And then we went and checked into the Jockey Club, which is like, it's like this tiny little condo complex, but it's like basically a timeshare in between Bellagio and Cosmopolitan. And they're like 100 stories tall. This thing's like 9 stories tall. And apparently, I guess what happened is they would not sell their land to the big hotels. And so they just built around them. So it's right on the strip. You can't see it from the strip, really. But if you go down like just this little like street, half a block, you're in the condo complex. So Claudia has a timeshare basically. And she so generously let us stay with her for a couple of days. Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night. And then of course I flew home on Wednesday. Can I just tell you, I had the most fabulous time in Vegas. First of all, getting away to spend a couple of days with my husband was wonderful. This summer has been insane with travel and work, and he's been working tons of overtime, and then it's just been crazy. So it was lovely to get to be just with him and not work for a couple of days. And then I got to meet some crochet friends who I felt like we were already friends because I watched them every couple of weeks and they watch me every couple of weeks. But you know, like you don't know how someone really is in person until you meet them. Well, they were so, so nice. So let me tell you who was there. So there was Claudia, who is Crochet Luna, and I'll put a link to all of these people down below. If you don't watch her podcast, what are you doing with your life? You have got to watch her. She is the sweetest, kindest, most generous person, and I feel super blessed to have met her, to be able to connect with her, that she's my yarn friend. It's just, she's a lovely person. I love everything she makes. I love everything she does. I love all of her buttons, and she's fabulous. And I have said this before, I will say it again. If there was no Crochet Luna podcast, there would be no Cozy Cottage Crochet podcast. Without Claudia, this podcast would not exist, because I was like, I don't know, should I do it? I had been tossing around the idea for a couple of months, and then I saw her and she just inspired me to start my own podcast, and I reached out to her about it and she was like, you should totally do it. And I was like, okay, I don't know. And yeah, so without her, I don't think that this would even exist. So I owe her, like, I just have so much love for you, Claudia. Okay, I'm gonna stop before I get emotional. Then there was Stephanie of the Tatted Tatter, who is a relatively new podcast, but I think she's fabulous too. She makes a lot of stuff. And she obviously has tattoos, so we're best friends. And she's just super funny. Like we shared a room, and it was super fun. Like, she's so funny and sweet, and I just love her. Love you, Stephanie. And then there's Z, who is Zelda on YouTube. I'll put it down below. And she is just a trip. Z, you are a trip. You made me laugh. I don't think I've laughed that hard in months and months. She is hilarious. She has more energy than anyone I've ever met. And she made a beautiful top while we were there. And she wore it to our meetup at Sin City Knits. It was lovely. So basically, I had the best time in the world, and you should follow all of these people. On Monday, we went to Planet Hollywood and ate at the buffet. And then Claudia played a little bit of poker, and Z went to go play slot machines, the Buffalo one. And Stephanie and I didn't want to gamble at all. So we had our yarn with us, of course. And so Claudia was playing poker, and there's like all these guys playing poker, and then we had chairs like behind her, and we were just like crocheting. And we got several comments of people being like, oh, I've seen a lot of stuff in casinos, but I've never seen someone knitting at the poker table. I don't know how to play poker. And I mean, as you can tell, I do not have a poker face. So it would be a complete waste of time. Then we went back to the hotel. I don't even remember what we did for dinner. Oh, wait. No, we didn't eat Mexican. I don't remember. It's kind of a blur almost. And then on Tuesday, we went back to Bobby and Flay's Burger Palace because, oh, so good. And then we had our meetup at Sin City Knits, which is a yarn store, the only yarn store in Vegas. And the owner's name is Debbie, and she's just such a lovely person. And the other person who was working there, Wendy, who's also just an amazing person. So we had a meetup from 4 to 7, and there was a bunch of people who came out. So I know I'm not going to remember everyone who came out, but if you came, gosh, it was just the best. And I want to give a couple of special shout outs. One to Nicole. Thank you so much. I know it was kind of a crazy time for you, and for you to come out and spend some time with me and with us was just so sweet. And Francesca, I am so glad I got to meet you in person. She has a podcast called La Princesa del Crochet, and if you speak Spanish, you should watch that podcast. I do not speak Spanish, muy poquito. I might be able to understand a little bit, but if you speak Spanish, she has a Spanish podcast, and she makes gorgeous things as well, crochet and knit. So, special love to both of you. There were some other people there, and it was also knit night at the shop, so there was like 6 people just there already knitting and spinning. And I want to show you a couple of things. This is, I guess, the happy yarn mail segment, which is acquisitions. So Francesca made me this lovely little cross stitch that has an H on it, and this is a stitch marker. And I don't know how to cross stitch. I don't think that I would have the patience for it. Honestly, I don't think I would have the patience for it because it's so tiny, but this is so beautiful. I'm gonna get a little frame and put this inside the frame and then put it up in my office. It's so sweet. I can't believe she went to all that trouble and took the time to make this. Thank you so much. It's beautiful, and I will treasure it. And she also gave me this book, which I believe, I haven't really had a chance to look at it yet, but it's a novel about knitting. So I think that would be really fun. And then, gosh, I don't even know what to show you first. I guess I'm just gonna go one by one, and if it's out of order, okay. Stephanie, who is the Tatted Tatter, made all of us ladies this fabulous face scrubby. And I don't remember what yarn she said this was made out of, but it's cotton, and it's very soft. Like, it's way softer than most of the cotton I've ever run across. I haven't used it yet because I've been waiting to show you, but I can't wait to actually use this. I'm gonna put it in the shower. It's so cute. She made these on the way to Vegas. The yarn store, Sin City Knits, I made some purchases, which I will tell you, if you have bought my Key Largo lace wrap, which is this one, it's the last pattern that I released. This lace wrap with the little flowers, then you paid for this yarn 100%. I bought yarn to make 2 new designs, which I will not be getting to quite yet because I've got to make another one of each of the Falling Ivy and the Bellatrix shawl, but these will be in the future. And then I was given yarn to make one more thing. So let me show you what I bought first. I bought 3 skeins of Barocco Vintage DK. So we've got a super heathered gray, and then it's looking a little weird on the camera, this green, but it's more like a dark teal. So the gray is colorway 2189, And this teal is colorway 2193. Now the names, the actual names for this will be on their website. I just didn't have a chance to look it up. So this is gonna be a shawl, which I am really excited to get started. Sorry about the crumpling. It's a plastic bag. And then this, I saw these and I loved the colors. But I wasn't necessarily gonna go home with them until I saw what it was made of. So this is Plymouth Yarn Company, and it's called Camello Merino because it is 80% merino and 20% camel. Now I have never in my life worked with a yarn that had camel in it, and this is so soft. I'm putting it on my neck. It is not prickly at all. Like, it's not bothering me. Merino doesn't usually bother me, but like alpaca makes me itchy. So I would have thought maybe camel would make me itchy too, but no. It's so soft and so beautiful. This is going to be a pair of like little mittens, like fingerless mitts. That white is blowing up the camera. But this pink, oh, it's so pretty. Let me see what the colorways are, if it even says. It just says color 22 for this pink. Made in Italy. And this is color 20. So, camel yarn. So all of these 5 was, I think it was like $53 plus tax. So if you've bought my Key Largo lace wrap, you have paid for the yarn for 2 new designs, which will be coming soon. So thank you so much. And then Debbie, who is the owner of Sin City Knits, well, this is her card. There you go. She hand dyes yarn to sell in her shop. They have some fingering weight and some worsted weight. And this is a skein of their worsted weight. It's called Double Down. The colorway, there is no colorway. It's just the name of it, Double Down. It does come in multiple colors, but she let me pick one. So it's a cake that's like white in the middle and speckled, and then on the outside it is this beautiful green and hot pink. And she gave me a skein of this to design a pattern with. And that she will feature in her shop. And I had no idea that she was going to do that. Claudia told her that I was a crochet designer, and so I took some of my samples, like I took my Treasure Island shawl and the Sanibel chevron shawl, which is currently being tested, and then my Key Largo lace wrap. So I took all of those to show her, and she gave me this and told me to write a pattern for it, and she would have it in her shop because she wants more crochet patterns. So I did not know what to do with myself. I was basically losing my mind. I don't even know what to say right now. Like I'm so thankful and overwhelmed that someone who would hand dye, who like owns a yarn store, wants to feature my pattern. Like, that's kind of insane. And then gave me this. And this yarn smells so good. I don't know what she does to it, but it smells like faintly flowery, like if you used herbal essence shampoo. That's what this smells like, with a little bit of sheepiness. So I'm really excited to get started on this. I have an idea already. I'm just not sure what stitch I'm going to use and how it's going to work exactly, but I have an idea of what it's going to be. So stay tuned. This is a very design heavy episode, isn't it? That's all I've shown you is 2 designs and yarn for more designs. Oh, I just didn't know what to do when she gave me that. So that was the time at Sin City Knits. It was so fabulous. And then we went and ate the best Italian food at a place like a mile away. I think it was called Prosecco's. Oh, everything was amazing. I got some angel hair, like tomato pasta. Everything was handmade. All their pasta was handmade. Z got lobster ravioli. Claudia got the same thing I got, and Stephanie got butternut squash ravioli, I believe. And then there was desserts and calamari and coffee, and it was just, the desserts were mind-blowing. There was like a crema thing that Stephanie got, and a tiramisu, and a Nutella crepe, and basically it was the best meal for the last night. And on Wednesday morning, I flew home. And it took me all day, and I got home at 8 something from the airport, and then I had to wait for my bag and get home. So I probably didn't really get home until like 9:30, and then we pretty much immediately went to bed because I was so tired. And then weird thing happened on the way home. So I had a layover in Chicago. But so they made everyone get off the plane when we landed, and then I looked at the time and I was like, oh, okay. I got off the plane. It's like 3:20, 3:25. I am going to be boarding at 3:45, my next plane. So let me figure out where that gate is, and I'll get there, and then I'll go to the bathroom. So I'm looking, and I'm like, 7:45, flight 7:45. That sounds familiar. And then I look at the gate, and it's L9. And I'm like, oh, that's the plane I just got off of. Like, I do not understand why they made everyone get off the plane. Normally, if you're continuing on to another destination, they just tell you, like, stay and we'll count you, and then you can move around the cabin or whatever. So I literally had 15 minutes, and then I had to get back on the plane. So I had just enough time to go to the bathroom and grab a sandwich and then get back on for Florida. So I don't know what was up with that, but I made it home. And yesterday I worked a lot, and I had some girlfriends over last night to watch. We have a Thursday night like tradition where some of my girlfriends come over and we watch TV. And normally I crochet the whole time. I was so tired I didn't even open any project bags. I just laid there like a lump and ate popcorn. So, and then this morning, now I am podcasting. I have a couple other acquisitions to show you, and then we'll be done. I'll save what Claudia gave me for last because it's crazy. But I did get a couple of things in the mail. One is from Patty, who responded to my last episode and said she had 2 stitch guides that she was not going to use and were just collecting dust on her shelf. And so one of them is a crochet stitch guide, and one of them is a Tunisian crochet stitch guide. And this I'm really excited about. Thank you so much, Patty. I will definitely use these in my design work, and I want to do more Tunisian. I've only done a couple of Tunisian projects, and it just seems like I have too many whips. And I can't like seem to get back to doing Tunisian, but I really want to, because I really, really enjoyed Tunisian crochet. And the only reason I learned Tunisian crochet was because Barb, who's a viewer of this podcast, gifted me a Craftsy class, and I had it on my to-do list, like learn how to do this, but I didn't know where to begin. And that Craftsy class was amazing, and I feel like I really understand Tunisian crochet. And there's another shawl that I want to make. It's in the Crochet Shawl Project book, and that is Tunisian. So thank you, Patty. I'm definitely going to get back to that. And she also sent this other book, Knit the Sky, which is a super fun, like, ideas for knitting book. And it's got all kinds of fun drawings. And she sent this to be a giveaway because I know there's quite a few knitters who watch this podcast as well. So I'm going to save this for a giveaway in the future, specifically for my knitters. And if you want to see what it is, it's called Knit the Sky by Leah Rimond. And then another lovely person who watches this podcast named Nicole sent me the sweetest card. And I didn't really, so it came in while I was gone in Vegas, and then on Wednesday night I just went to bed. And yesterday I didn't really look at anything until I got home from work yesterday afternoon. And so I opened her package. She wrote me this. You guys are so nice. Like, can I just say that I just want to thank you to all of the people who watch this podcast, like fiber people, yarny people. You guys are the sweetest, nicest, kindest, just best all around people that I've ever interacted with on any platform. You're so sweet and so generous. And she sent me a fun little bag from Joann's, and actually my Joann's has this bag, and I look at it and I'm always like, oh, it's so cute, and then I don't buy it. So thank you, because this is super adorable. She also sent these 2 skeins of yarn. I do not know what the colorway is, but I can guarantee you, because this yarn looks familiar, that this is Deborah Norville. Is it Serenity is their sock weight? This is that yarn. This is definitely a self-striping yarn. So this is going to be a pair of socks. 100% guarantee. You know, I have to finish the one that's on my needles first, but I do need to make a pair of socks for Christmas for someone, and I think this is going to be the yarn. So thank you so much, Nicole. That was so sweet of you. Okay, if you watch the Crochet Luna podcast, you will know that Claudia goes crazy when she gives gifts to other people because that brings her a lot of joy. So she gave Z and Stephanie and I each a swag bag, which I would not really call it a swag bag. It's more of a swag tote full of amazing things. And I just want to show them to you because I haven't done anything with them yet because they make me so happy and I wanted to show them off. So first I will show you, this is a tote. We each got one. It says Crochet Time, Crochetcation 2018, and it has an H, like Stephanie's had an S, Z's had a Z. She told me she got these bags at Joann's and then just printed on like the iron-on paper, this. So if you want a bag like this, you can get one at Joann's, I guess. Or maybe it was Michael's, one of those two. This is a pin from Sin City Knits that Debbie gave to all of us. And this, I'm gonna take it off because I don't know if you're really gonna be able to see it very well, is, I hope that's in focus. It is a pin that she made to look like a poker chip for Vegas. And it says Crochet Luna, the Tatted Tatter, Cozy Cottage Crochet, and Z, who is Zelda NRJ3 on YouTube. And it says Crochetcation 2018, and it has all of our names around in the poker chip. She had these made, which is, that's crazy, Claudia. They're beautiful. If you haven't bought any pins from her shop, you really need to. And then, that's not all. She made each of us a glass. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this very well. I should put something inside of it so you can see. It says Hannah's Crochetcation. And we all had one of these. And we drank some sparkling wine out of them on the last night. Mine says Hannah, hers said Claudia, the other one said Stephanie. So we all got one that has our name on it. And I don't know how I managed to get this home without it cracking. I had it wrapped up really well, and I carried it in my backpack, and like every time I would touch my backpack, I would like pull it out and be like, is it still wrapped? I was very nervous about it breaking. Also, we all got it's like a mug that you decorate yourself and then you bake in the oven and it sets the paint. We were gonna do this together, but then we ended up not having time because we literally just crocheted the whole time. Also, some lovely Knit Pick Stroll yarn, which, so soft. I love Knit Picks. Also, I'm just gonna keep saying also, there is a cute little button that says Create, and this is a pin that has different colors, and you can attach it to your body so you can't lose it, and you can put stitch markers and stuff here. So I'm not sure where she got these, but basically it's for like patterns and stuff. Like you can check off what row you're on with different colors, or like circle things and highlight things. So I thought that was really neat. There is an entire container of stitch markers, and I have desperately been needing more of these. I don't know what happened to some of mine. Like I used to have so many of these and they have just vanished. Maybe I have too many whips. And I was actually looking at some of these at Joann's the other day, just like a 2-color bag of them, and then I didn't buy it. I'm really good at talking myself out of spending money. I was like, it's fine, I'll get them later. It's a good thing I didn't buy them because this is like 100 in rainbow colors. And she also gave me Crochet Powers Activate, which is her button. And these are like little sticky tabs to put on your pattern. And her Bad Boys, Bad Girl Summer Romance Cal button. Now, I have entered several things in the Summer of Romance Cal. However, the Bellatrix shawl was supposed to be done and entered for that because Bellatrix Lestrange is completely a bad girl. However, I just could not get it done in time. The thing was over on like Monday or Tuesday, and I didn't get it finished till Wednesday. Too late. But she's totally a bad girl, so it's okay with me. And then a few Vegas themed stitch markers. Hopefully I can show these to you. This is like a little diamond. That is an H. This is a clover for luck, because you need luck in Vegas. This is just a really pretty rose bead. And then this is a deck of cards, which is super fun. And finally, I know, it just keeps going. This is incredible to me. A beautiful 50 grams of yarn that Mitchell's Creations, I think her name is Tara. Yeah, Tara. So she dyed a custom 2 skeins of yarn based on this photo of Vegas. This is her logo. And it's called Grand Isle. It says 75% merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina, and it's basically 50 grams of Vegas yarn. And look at the sparkle. I don't know what in the world to do with this other than keep it forever and just pet it like a pet. Like, this is my new fiber friend. Like, I don't even think I can work it up into anything because it's so beautiful. So, Claudia. Claudia, you're so sweet. I don't know what to say other than thank you times a billion. I had the most fun time. I hope we get to do this again next year. We get together and maybe more of you guys can join us next year. I'm looking around because I feel like I'm missing something, but I think that that's actually it. I mean, it's been an hour, so I guess I have been talking for quite a while. I'm just so full of joy. My heart is happy. The summer of craziness is over, and it ended on such a wonderful note. I got to spend time with my husband, and then I got to meet in person the loveliest crochet people. And I'm excited about the new crochet designs. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about the fall. Maybe it'll be a little less hot. Not till like November around here, but let me say one more time, if you didn't catch this, the winner of the giveaway from the last podcast episode is Reading Yarn Mama, who has won this. And you are from Michigan. I will send you a message on Ravelry. Please respond to me with your address so that I can get this in the mail to you. As with all my giveaways, if you don't respond by the time the next episode goes live, then I will draw someone else. However, I do everything in my power to tell people when they have won, so that they don't miss it. Because I know there's a lot going on, especially with school starting. I need a coffee. Clearly, I do not need a coffee. I am already up here. I need some food. I have not had lunch, and it is like 12:30 already. I'm going to make some food. I'm going to edit this podcast. It will be ready to go tomorrow morning for your viewing pleasure on Saturday. And then I am going to get ready because tomorrow is another crochet meetup. So many crochet things on one day. I mean, on 1 week. So if you're coming tomorrow, I can't wait to meet you. And we'll meet at Panera Bread. All the details in the Ravelry group. It is not too late. You can still come if you get this and you live in Tampa. Because when this goes live, you're going to have like 3 hours to get there. So until next time, happy crafting. Leave me a comment below. Tell me what you're working on. And I will see you in 2 weeks.